Greetings, everyone. Rev.Hawksblood here. I'm calling from the big island of Hawaii, and there's just so much stuff happening. My co-host should be here in a few seconds. I don't know what's going on. But what I want to start off with is the things that are happening in the UFO world are not helping it. They're actually tearing it apart. I don't know what's going on with my camera. All right. We have, I don't know how many speakers, mainstream speakers out there in the UFO world. I'd say anywhere between 100 and 200 main speakers that are, out of that, maybe 50 that are making lots of money, meaning charging $20,000 to do a lecture for a weekend conference for 2 hours. Well, if you think those people are worth that kind of money, go right ahead and pay them. I don't. I was in the UFO world. I was lecturing with Sergeant 18 for a couple years back, and I was his co-host as well, co-partner, whatever. I didn't make money. I wasn't doing it for money. And he was only doing, he got paid to get there and all the hotels and everything else. But when we were out there, we were promoting, showing all the important things. Hold on, let me bring our co-host in. Chewing. Greetings. I'll let you finish chewing before you say hello.
Hello, everybody. Sorry. It's so hot here in the UK.
Could you put yourself a little bit louder?
Yeah. I did turn it down a bit because I've had to open my door. It was like 32 degrees in here earlier and it was starting to get near 35. It's so hot. So I've put the fan on, so you might be able to hear the fan and a bit of outside noise from outside because it is so hot.
Well, introduce yourself. I'll let you first while we're here.
Sorry, everybody. Hello, everybody. I'm Tina Brad here in England, in Southampton. I'm E.T. Girl. You can find me on Facebook and things like that. We do our weekly show here with Tommy Hawksblood. And this week on Encounters, we're ready to explore every possibility. But I'm going to just before I give it over to Tommy. There was something that just caught my eye this week. I thought it was a bit funny, and I'm just going to read it to you now. Microsoft News today. It was actually, believe it or not, it's from a serious newspaper. It was the Washington Post, and Mark Buchanan's post said that contact with aliens could kill us. And they said that if aliens do exist, it would be extremely dangerous. And there's also an astronomer, Joe Gert, also said that contact is reckless. Well, Joe, I hate to disappoint you. Contact is already happening. And if it's reckless, then that's something that should be probably addressed with them. But over to Tommy. But the only other thing I was going to say, it's gone very quiet in the US over this inconclusive UFO report. Tommy, over to you.
Well, we got, I think it's 12 days before the United States has to release their files. All right. And there's a lot of debate what's going to be said if anything's released. We talked about that a couple of times already. First thing, the government cannot come out and tell the truth. They cannot. There is no possible way they can. All right. It would destroy everything about the United States if they did. Now, they can come out and admit some things, even if it's just that ships are real, aliens are real. I mean, they're not going to go into the details, what they do, what they did, and where they're going with that. Because don't forget, this war is going on, and that is the highest information to protect the United States as well. So what I want to get into today is what is happening right now in the UFO world. Not 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 50 years ago, 100 years ago, but in the past couple of years even to the present day right now. I'll let Tina get you caught up on her story with that as well.
Well, I was just going to say, we are quite, I think here in the UK, yes, everyone looks over the past because when anyone tries to make a statement about UFOs, they like to bring a bit of history in it to bring people who don't know up to date. Well, I think everyone's more up to date on Roswell and other things, but NASA has clearly said over the years there's been pictures that emerged, like I believe it was February 2020 when NASA came out and said there was a huge UFO filmed and pictures were taken over the ISS, and a huge UFO monitored the ISS for 20 minutes. NASA came out and said it. Why isn't that worth headlines? It's like two pieces on the internet, and that's it. So you've got people like NASA in America, well, independently or with the American government, coming out and saying that. So it just seems that world leaders aren't acting on that. They're not listening. It's like people that are voted in, like you said, about senators and like the president. People want to have it. They vote these people in to do things, and nothing is being done. These people will tell you this is happening and nothing is being done. Again, a huge thing. They're all coming out now with space exploration, Space Force, protect the Earth, protect Mars, protect the Moon. Well, that's fine, but who's protecting humanity and the human race? I'm just going to see Tommy speaking to a few of our guys in the chat room. If there's anyone in there.
Tommy. Yeah. All right. Now, here's the thing. If you follow UFO conferences, you'll see certain speakers at different ones. There's so many going on right now. If you got a lot of money, you can go to them all, listen to all the stories, spend a lot of money. But what I'm telling you right now, what's happening with speakers in the UFO world is really seriously a problem to people going, people getting involved, people buying books. Many of the main speakers, I could say the names directly, there's a bunch of them, that are telling stories of people's stories, telling their own ideas. If you want to pay that, you could go to a person on the street and to ask them for their ideas. But some of these people are quoted as the most famous UFO investigator, writer. Really? Who's the most famous? Anybody? Does anybody come out with a real alien or ship that's famous? No. Now, on the Bigfoot scale, somebody really killed a baby, and we don't know if.
Hello, John.
So they actually got parts of it now, and they're analyzing it. They're already saying they're part human. Well, we'll get more into that'll start coming out over the next 6 months on what people do, think, and feel about that. But getting back to the speakers in the UFO world, they all got something to say right now, and many of them are promoting this false alien invasion. That is not going to happen.
I mean, how can they? Sorry to interrupt, Tommy, but how can they say about an alien invasion when 90% of the planet, the US government hasn't come out and said that that aliens even exist, but they're not taken off the table?
Here's what they're trying to say. Stephen Greer, main person saying it, brought it out, made other people believe on it. Here's the thing. They're going to say that the government might come out and try to scare people and say we got to get ready for an attack. That's pretty lame, but it is a fact that it is partially true. But
attack from who? I think they're more worried about the threat from China, aren't they?
Not Majestic 12. They're more concerned with the aliens are doing. I mean, here's things that people don't talk about, especially in the UFO world. How we had to slaughter a whole colony of Greys. How they killed a large number of our people. How many people they abduct to eat in the United States alone. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody talks about that because most of these people have no clue. They don't even know what they're talking about.
I mean, what gets me is what Tommy's just said. I see things from a different angle. Tommy's very real, and I try to say it as I see it. So, like Tommy just said, so all this is going on, and if the Vietnam War's on, people will be calling out the Vietnamese government. They'll be calling out the US and other governments that were involved and saying, "What about the poor people you're killing in there that's done nothing wrong? And you're invading our country. This is going on and you're taking people prisoner." The same thing is happening to abductees around the world, not just here in the UK, around the world, and not one person is speaking out on their behalf. Never on Greenpeace and the planet, or human rights, or war crimes, or activists. Nobody is speaking out for these people that are being taken. What is going on?
Tina, I am emailing all these speakers every day, calling them a liar. And I tell them if they grow a pair of balls, I'll debate them anywhere, anytime, their show, my show, offline. Because, okay, like you just said, they don't talk about that. Oh, there's good aliens. They're going to help us. They took us to other worlds. They showed us all these things. But look at the world right now. Planet Earth is in the worst condition, and we could very closely damage everything about it. I mean, the way we live, the way we eat, and everything could collapse.
If you think about it, enzymes or microorganisms leave our planet. They know that. That's a scientifically proven fact. So we've created COVID-19 in this world. We're now potentially polluting space with COVID-19. And you think that aliens want to help us? No. If aliens want to help us, they'd be curing this.
See, that idea of good aliens, all right, that's like saying there's a good caterpillar, there's a good lion, there's a good tiger, there's a good elephant. Oh, there's good in every kind. Yeah, but they're a different species. Their agenda is completely different. People don't understand that. There's a couple races that look very human. The Pleiadians are us from the future, but the reptilians, the Greys, the Nordics, oh, the Nordics are angels. No, they're just tall beings. All right. And they're not good. So, when people go on, the only race that I can say, I said tall whites. Sorry. I meant to say the Nordics. The tall whites are not being involved with good or bad, to put it on the short term. But the races that are bad have power. And in a war situation, who's going to win? If you send a bunch of kids out there with pea shooters, and on the other side you got guys standing there with machine guns, who's going to win? The good little people with the pea shooters? When we went to Vietnam, we were killing children from 14 years old every day. There was an alien war going on at the same time there, which was never mentioned by a few vets that actually were involved with it. So there's a lot of things happening. Do you realize aliens need souls and people? They need food. They
need genetic material.
And one thing, but they need food. Everything needs food to live, period. All right. Now, the Greys were dying out, and they had they're genetically cloning a whole country, a whole world. And it's, I don't know, did they take you there, Tina?
So I think they took me. So I think I don't want to say yes, I've time traveled, I've been there. It's when they took me, I can only explain what happened at the time. So when they took me, I was down here and this huge wall, they're like loads of little TV screens, like film strips. And for some reason, I zoomed in on the top one, like kind of focused on it, and it got like closer or bigger. And they put me in it, put me in the bubble, not stepped in it. And before I knew it, I was outside of this planet. Then I was inside of this planet and zooming along like this tall, greeny wheat. It was like just like yellow wheat, but it was green or barley. It was very, very, very tall. It looked a little bit different from us. And but when they took me there, I was still in this bubble, so it was really weird. But I'm not sure because I think I asked a question. So when you talk to them, it's not like me and you talking. It's they react to your thoughts, but you don't know you're having that thought. It's weird. It's like a two-way mirror. But so I was sure I asked, where do human beings come from? Where do you come from? So I'm not sure if they took me back in the past to show me what happened to our world or where we came from, or they physically took me to another planet. See, I'm not a scientist, so I couldn't tell you, but that's what happened.
The problem with the word abductees versus the imaginary word experiences. Aliens like to show people videos. Take for instance Corey Good. He was shown all these videos, past, present, future, said the world was going to be destroyed soon, and many other things as well. But Cavalacity, I'm not saying, know if I know his name right. When I first heard him speaking, he was right on with everything I believed in. Then he started going into the good aliens are working with them, and the world's going to be destroyed in 2 years. That was many, many years ago. And he said a lot of things, but they were all wrong. All right. He was right about a couple little things, but they're wrong about a lot of things. Now, Billy Myers twisted his own faith by screwing up, but he was right on. He put out prophecy for 100 prophecies. 89 or so, even more, maybe came true. And he sent that letter around the world in 1950 to every country. He wasn't a dreamer, but see, somewhere his mind got programmed or controlled or money hungry, whatever. I don't think he ever became a super millionaire, but when he became a little more famous, he had to make things happen. So he set up his state.
I think, yeah, what Tommy's right with speakers. From what Tommy's saying is I think one of the other people in the chat room said like the contacting people like in the 40s and 50s era. A lot of people back then who was looking into it or had access to what was going on were military people or high-ranking scientists. So all these military people are still bound by like the Official Secrets Act, so they couldn't do nothing until they left 20 or 30 years later, until they left their careers and their duty, bound duty is finished. Which is why, like in the I don't know 90s, 2000s, a lot more people from the military were coming forward, and then you had from 2000 you had like a 10-20 year gap when other sightings were going on, and then you had like another wave of people coming forward, and it seemed like it was older stories all the time going over and over, but the people coming forward is not older stories. It's just that these peoples that were either witness to it or knew something about it couldn't really speak out until now. Like Tommy says, speakers today get second or third hand accounts because today there's not many people a part of this because it is so hush hush, because it's so secret.
I got to answer a couple questions in the chat room there.
Yeah.
I don't want to go into the virus today, but you're kind of right about a lot of aspects of the virus, what's happening with that, why it was created, what it's supposed to do, what it really is. All those things are lies and twisted. The vice president of Fiber, ex-vice president of Fiber whatever it is, came out and said that after 2 years, all the people that got the injection are going to die. The ex-vice president of Pfizer.
I did get Pfizer jab. I have the AstraZeneca, so you're right.
My partner just got one injection. My brother got both. His wife got both. I mean, I'm looking at all my family. I said, what if they all die in 2 years? They could, if this is even partially true. I won't get it. I mean, now they're trying to really push the forced injection in the United States. Don't forget, FEMA camps were created for a reason. FEMA camps, check it out. They're real. They're all over the United States. There's people in them already. Families, they take families and they don't just take one person in. And they could go against religion. They could go against belief systems of any kind. They could come after people that don't get injections. There could be a lot of reasons why they're going to be putting people in FEMA camps. But in a FEMA camp, they make it look good on the outside. They got little rides for kids and things like that. But I promise you, they're planning on doing things with those children and people that come in there. It's not a free ride, and they're not going to make it happy land for those people they take in there. So, like I said, I don't want to stay with this virus too much because I want to get back into this UFO world because it's exploding. First off, did you see anything recently, Tina?
Yeah, I put up because people say like, oh, it's aircraft or it's this or it's this. And like, I do live near an airport, but I've lived here for 50 years, all my life, and I've never seen an airplane or a helicopter go from a square light, shoot up and down. It's not a drone because it doesn't split off into 3 bits and goes into 3 or 4 different colors and hovers and then emerges back into one and shoots. So there's a picture. If you look at my Facebook, this one light, my partner caught a very good image. See those 3 orbs? There's the blue one there at the top. This is above the house across the road there, literally about 250, 300 yards from my house. There's another. So there's one there. There is one. Sorry, go this side. One there. Oh, one the other side, the other blue one. And just behind this one here, see the dark thing behind it? It's actually a red one. You can't see that very well. But if you have a look on my Facebook page, you can see it. Now that's split. The dot at the back at the top is the light it came from. And then they split off into three like a triangle. They're definitely like all shot round together. So there's red one, blue one, and like a different blue one. Shot round and then went into one and then went on their little merry way. But they were out there for 20 minutes. So if you look on my Facebook page, ET Girls Facebook page, you'll see them on there from last time. But with the hot weather, I'm not even. One night we went to sleep out there. It's so hot and it gets damp about 3 or 4 o'clock. I came in, I just fell asleep. But yeah. But when my partner gets up, he's been very good. He's been going out with his camera and he's been very good with it. So yeah.
All right. So now here's the thing. I'm in Hawaii. I'm on a big island. There's 5 islands, big islands here. All right. It's not like one island is, they all have names, but the big island is called the Big Island of Hawaii. So over the past 2 or 3 months, there has been so much UFO activity. Everybody I know is aware and saw major things happening. I built, I could probably show it to you. A platform outside my window.
Yeah, you've been telling me you've been building that with your binoculars and
I could actually lay on a roof looking at the sky and see the whole sky. It took me about 2 months to get it all together the way I built it. It's only a little space, but I'll show it to you later. But it's like I got to stand up on there and I can see the whole horizon, but I can lean over on the roof so that I don't have to keep turning back and forth to my back and front. But what I saw in the past week was incredible. I missed something my friend around the corner saw 2 days ago. Now, just to tell you, everything we see is not a satellite. Many people say, oh, it's a satellite. Oh, it's a satellite. There's many things about ships that make it different than a satellite. First off, they do not go frontwards and backwards. They do not go sideways. They travel at the same speed. They don't blink 10 times and stop. And
I know they do have electric drones now that don't make noises and that can go extremely fast, but they don't split into 3 and change into colours and merge back into one. So people do know what they're seeing. But yeah, carry on, Tommy.
But second of all, most UFO, satellites are small, and every day they make them smaller. I mean, the biggest one was the size of probably like a trailer. All right. But they don't make them that big. They put like 100 on it. Must put 16,000 up. And we saw the trails and all that when they first went up and everything. But he wants to put 26,000 or 260,000 around the whole planet. But again, they're teeny. And if you put them high in space, you're not going to see them no matter what was going on. Second of all, most of them do not have a light. And then, okay, when you see a blink, okay, if it was a satellite, it's running on power supply that's running it. So it's not going to waste all its money on a light, which it doesn't need. So now outside of that, the speeds they travel are not the same as most UFOs. Now, on a UFO realm, I saw about 10 of them in one night, in one hour. A lot of them just blink. They're not there, and they'll blink at you maybe 3 times, 5 times, 20 times.
See the ones I see, some of them out there. You sit out there at night, and all of a sudden you look at the stars, completely black, and this little thing is definitely round. So if I can see it from here, it is so far up in the sky. It has to be absolutely huge, and they just float around like giant bees around a huge light, and they can either shoot across or they just look like they're minding their own business, zigzagging around the skies like that, and they can change direction. That's not an aircraft. That's not a drone. Tommy.
All right. You see, satellites are going in one direction. All right. Most of them go one direction around the planet, and they all have an actual set pattern. Now, getting back to UFOs, when you see them, if you're trying to film them, most of them don't let you film them.
Yeah.
Meaning, the second you get your camera on them, they disappear. And I'm not lying. That probably happened to about 80% of the pictures of UFOs I was trying to take. That's not mean they're going behind a cloud or just going behind a tree, right in clear sky, right next to 3 other stars. Blink, they blink out. Now, I saw one 2 days ago. I was filming it, and it was moving, and then it kind of stopped and disappeared. I put my camera down, and it turned into a big ball of light, and then it shot out. I cut off because I thought it was gone. But they play games when they know people can see them. They're very psychic. They're very sensitive to that, and that's how they pick up the people they want and use. Uh, so these ships that are flying over us do a lot of things. Now, there was a video released of Hawaii with about 100 ships doing a half a circle and coming around, and a whole bunch of
Is
little
it
ones.
because you've got a lot of activity there? You seem to have a lot of UFOs publicised in the news when you have volcanic activity.
No, the volcano stopped. There's more activity right now than ever. When I first came here, almost 18 years ago, whatever, a friend of mine was filming the ships going in and out of the volcano. They were pretty fuzzy. He wanted me to do a movie on it. I said, they're too loud. They're not good enough to do a movie with. I wouldn't want to waste my time trying to get people to say, hey, check this out. But again, even in Mexico, the head person of Mexico sees them and stuff. So they got the ability to go into a flaming tunnel to get to their base. The same as ships go into the sun. That means they're not like us. Realize that, for one. And they don't think like us. So getting back to these ships, they travel at different speeds. When you're watching them, they can do a zigzag. They'll come down. I mean, the one that my friend saw 2 days ago, which I didn't see, he told me all about it. His wife was watching it with him. Came across, went down, went up this way, shot out that way. And I said, why didn't you call me? Because I was in the hot tub. And it said it came back and did the same thing again. No satellite's going to do that. And then when you see two come together and go around or do opposite splits and stuff, they're not satellites, people. And then again, ships do travel. I mean, they're going across the sky. Some are traveling full speed. For some reason, they travel full speed almost 90%, 99% of the time during the day. At nighttime, they don't. I don't know the exact reasons. I'm not there thinking on why they would do that. I mean,
years ago,
I
did see something strange, Tommy. I was camping with friends. You got to be going back at least 25, over 30 years, 25, 30 years ago, at least 30 years ago. I was out in the New Forest in Hampshire. We're camping, and it's got to be 12:30, 25 to 1. And we just finished playing football. We've been playing like football, glow football in the dark. And in the field, and we'd all sat there, and it was really, really nice, hot, warm summer night. So we just got our camp beds out, and with their bedrolls laid on the floor. There's about 15 of us. And as I sat there, looked up, everybody saw it as like a white dot. So it had to be so far up. I don't know where this noise came from, but it wasn't. So it's like it just like appeared like a flash, but it was like a dot in the sky. You could see it. And then it did left a zigzag line like that. You could physically see the zigzag triangle line. And then it did it again, and then it stopped like a dot, so it looked like a Christmas tree. And all of a sudden it just shot off. And when it shot off, it made like this pinging noise. We could hear that and that was so far up. And that was back then. That's the only time I've ever heard anything like that make a noise.
Well, I want to follow up with that, but basically a lot of the triangle ships are ours. I'm sorry, they're not UFOs, they're not aliens.
It made a triangle trail.
No, I'm just talking triangle ships.
Yeah.
All right. Now, here in Hawaii, a couple of years ago, I was at the end of town going to the bank, and the bank was closed. When I came out of the bank, I heard the loudest noise I ever heard. It was a triangle ship coming right up out of the mountain, about maybe 300 yards. It seemed like from where it came over the mountain, where I was standing. It was over my head. I reached for my camera. My camera went dead. I had two cameras on me. I reached for the other camera. That was dead. And it was blasting like my eardrums out, but it was gone within 3 seconds. I mean, out. I saw it shoot out into space and gone. So our technology is pretty high right now. Don't forget, Hawaii is the #1 defense for the United States during any kind of major war attack. So we got a lot of stuff going on with that kind of stuff. So now to compare triangle ships with regular ships and everything else, I was with Sergeant 18 for many years, and we got about 9 classic designs of real ships, not tic tacs, not little dots.
Tommy, this thing I saw in space, talk about Tommy size of ships. This thing I saw, it was near Jupiter. It was, man never made that. It was huge. It was like a black submarine in space with no dorsal fins or nothing. It was, it was so big. That was not created by man. No, never. We couldn't have even. Wow, I don't even see how they could have launched something like that from our planet. It was huge. No, I've never seen anything like that. And it was like a black giant cigar. And it was absolutely huge.
Well, just a question that was in the chat room about the pyramid video that they put up. You know, it's still not close enough to get an idea what it really is. It could have been a triangle ship as well. It could have been a lot of things.
I've got a comment on that. If you
wait.
Sorry.
Depending on how close it is to us. I mean, if it's way out in space and it looks like that, it was a gigantic ship. If it was really close to us, it didn't have to be such a gigantic ship. All right, Tina, go ahead. Sorry.
There was a UFO, huge UFO pyramid report in a place called Wales in England, going back, oh God, I want to say about 5 or 6 years now. It may not be. The lady involved is called Kaz Clarkson, C-A-Z, Kaz Clarkson. She made a UFO report. This thing was seen by half the village. She went out there. The military was out in the fields. There were helicopters out there, military on the ground, and this thing was a giant pyramid with barrels shooting out of it. And the whole village saw this thing up there. Apparently, it's been the Penrich incident, I think it's called, if you look it up, and that was said to have been like a giant pyramid thing. But Kaz Clarkson's the lady who reported it. You can find her on Facebook. If you're interested in pyramid-sized UFOs, she's your lady. Go onto Facebook and look her up. Sorry, Tommy.
No, see, these ships that we're seeing, I see, the ones that blink are supernova lights. I mean, it's not like I dealt with the people in UFO world. The one that took over for Ed Grimsley, who died, was killed. She has no clue what's going on. I'm not going to say a name, but I had arguments with her. Don't even want to waste my time talking to her. She takes people out to look at things and doesn't know what they are or anything about them or anything. But well, let's look at them. Okay, let's look at the ocean and know that there's all kinds of fish there, but let's not name what they are or anything. But here's the thing: when I go out and I see these things, most of them do sense you. Meaning they know you're watching them. I told you the last time I was watching the ship. I took out my laser and hit the ship, and it changed color to my laser. It was white, and it turned green. And then when I took the light off, it turned back to white. It moved halfway.
Now, Tommy, you were probably communicating with the UFO and don't even know it because you don't know what you were saying. But what you're saying is right. Do you remember that day when you told me to go outside and try and communicate back? When you told me to go sit in the car, that was the most frightening experience of my life. I thought they were coming back for me again. But Tommy's right. They do look upon people like that want to go out and sit. I'm not knocking meditation. I think meditation is very good for the inner peace and things like that. 100%. But all these psychic people say they speak to aliens and things like that. Wow. But if you're a true abductee and you don't know, when they look over you, they're looking over to see if you can contact them. Now, for me, the only way I've ever done that really is in the grey link. But if you do sit there and not dwell on it, if you think hard enough or just relax, I'm not sure if you can sense them very, very far away or you can sense them. But the vibe I get back is it's a bit like how an adult human sees a squealing child. Do you know what I mean?
I'm not gonna say this as a prejudice statement. I'm not saying it for this reason, but I'm protected. Certain people are protected. There's certain ways and vibrations of people that they cannot touch. All right. It's the same as if God came to this planet, the earth would explode. but
People
only
probably wouldn't know what he or she or he looked like.
But they wouldn't even want to know that. They wouldn't even want to believe that. Oh no, God wouldn't do that to us. Well, why do you think God isn't here? If you believe all the stories, that's a different story as well. But getting back to when we deal with UFOs, like Stephen Greer teaching people how to talk to aliens. Why? I mean, come out with one statement that's beneficial to the human race.
So I think that's a double conundrum, really, because Mr. Dr. Greer, as we've given his respect to due, Dr. Greer has said, like, he's given the government briefs about UFOs and about aliens. Now, why would you then want to go and start a group that wants to talk to aliens when aliens clearly does not want to talk to humanity because they would have gone about it differently? So, can't write that one out. That's a question for another time. But going back to this, so what is the chit chat in America at the moment about this, the inconclusive reports? I mean, what can you give us the lowdown on that?
Well, here's the thing. In America, more people coming out every day right now. Different people from different levels are saying, well, they saw a ship, they were with aliens. There's a lot of things coming out now. Because once that door opens, even a little, everything's going to come through it. I mean, I think that's truly what the government is afraid of. But now, because of Mr. Trump, like I said, the only good thing he ever did was pass the bill that they do have to release files on it. And he doesn't believe in aliens. So that's where he is with that. So I guess he doesn't expect anything. But when he met Putin, Putin actually said something to him.
So if Mr. Trump, President Trump, respect that. So President Trump doesn't believe in aliens, then why would he ask them to release a bill, to release proof about that?
See, he's a contradictory to himself as well. When he met Putin the day after, he goes, I'm creating a space army. We had a space army. So he took credit for things. He tries to take credit for things that he did or says he did, which he didn't.
But he announced it. No other president has, so.
Oh, no. He brought that file out. Why would you want to bring a file out? It's like saying, I want the proof of Bigfoot. And now somebody killed it. Somebody killed the little one and the mother. And they buried it. And so when they went to unbury it, there was only part of it there. But they're doing the DNA testing and all that. They're already saying it's partial human DNA. So when they come out with that, they said it's another hybrid race that was here. And it's all going to come out within probably 6 months, the actual details about that. But we managed to hide the whole fact for how many years? But it takes one person to kill something. All right. He buried it because he thought the game warden was going to arrest him for killing something. So when the science department actually found out he killed one, they wanted him to go out and get it. And they actually went out to find it. And only part of it was there. Most of it was eaten.
Well, so, at least they found it. Found what part of it.
Brings so much more truth about what Bigfoot really is. All right. I don't even go into Bigfoot. That's a different entity, alien or not, doesn't matter. But it never helped the native people, and it never helped anybody. Oh, it helped the native people. The native people never got help because they were slaughtered. So when people talk about aliens, they talk about the star beings, a word somebody mentioned. All right. Star children. All right. They're not the spiritualist beings on the planet. They're not super spiritual. They're aware children. Now, the only ones that are spiritual aware beings are the blue star children. And I already mentioned that last time, that they're not coming here no more because the government has been abducting them. A high vibration, you could see it. And here's a simple way. If you think you're spiritual, if you think you are, can you leave your body? If you can, rise above the planet. Look at the planet on the dark side of the planet. See how many lights you see on the planet. Every spiritual being will glow. If there are any, see how many you can see. All right. That can prove how spiritual you are, how spiritual awareness you think you have is. But all these people claim all these great things. Look at the planet. There's not many lights on this planet. I'm not talking about street lights and phosphorescent lights and things like that. I'm talking about people that are lights, actual lights. When you become aware, you become a light. And there was only a few souls that walked this planet that have been that. So getting back to this UFO thing. Now, I can go out any given day. It's clear. It's cloudy a lot, more so than not. When it's clear, I'll see many different things. All right. Anybody can. Now, all these things are coming out regularly. And what do you hope when in Hawaii they send it to the Army, because our base is right here, and then the Army sends back, we did not send anything up, we did not do anything, and blah blah blah. So they deny they did anything with it, and that would mean it has to be an alien then, if the government's saying they didn't do it. So I mean, they're only twisting their own things about what they say and do. But I'm going to throw this in. A couple years ago, I talked to two people from the base here, which is about 6 levels down, and they said the motherships will be here. Funny, within the past 2 months, I met 3 people that all said they saw the mothership right over us here. All right, and I'm talking about a ship that covers a couple blocks long, not like, and it had to be low as well. Don't forget, we don't got tall buildings on this island anywhere. So ships don't have to stay super high without hitting buildings and things like that. They can cruise pretty low. And it cruised right over the top of our island. So there's a lot of things getting ready. Now, for these 2 people that I said I saw, told me we were shooting down the small scout ships. And I saw 2 of them get blown up and disappeared. But here's the thing. The motherships are coming. They said they will be here within, this was about a year ago. The one said would be probably a year and a half before the motherships are here, and then we will have to worry. All right. What they will decide to do. If you watch the fake movie War of the Worlds, or the Day the Earth Stood Still, and then the movie V, you'll get a wide perspective of what could happen and what will happen. I promise you, something out of them will happen. Whether
it's very scary, very frightening.
Part of them. But when aliens come here and say, "Oh yeah, we're going to help you. We're going to give you medicine," I was there already. I was friends with one of the people from MJ12. He was going to give us honey that heals every sickness on this planet.
I must admit, I can't say they're like, evil or anything like that, because that when they was inside my chest that time, I had that operation, and they were doing something in my chest, and I was laid there, and one of the little ones this side sprouted out and got blood on it from inside. Now they were the taller one stopped me seeing or thinking because they're very cold and dead and black inside. They're just there's no feeling, no nothing. They're quite happy to let me lay there and die and move on to the next person. But the tall one conducting an experiment or watching over what they were doing stopped me the second it realised I knew what was going on. I'm not sure if it stopped me from panicking, from hurting them, or from stop me from hearing what they were thinking or saying or doing. But he made me fix them, and they gave me the clear blood. They told me it was clean blood in a little packet like that with like a weird little tube only about this long on it. And he said it was clear blood. Now, they did that to save my life, but it was something they did. It was something they did inside me that caused me to nearly die. But they did fix that. Now, I can't say, like, if they wouldn't have been doing it in the first place, they wouldn't need to have done that. But if they hadn't done it, I wouldn't have been here. But if they'd taken me, then, But yeah, so they do have medicine that can help, but they choose not to.
Like I say to you, they're watching you, they're still following you, and they are protecting you. And I feel the reason why they are protecting you is they have your whole family. And they know you can communicate with them, and you're like one of the outcasts that they can really get some information from. That's why when you're radioactive, you're still alive.
Thanks.
I'm sorry, Tina. You're one of the very few people on this planet, if anybody else, can be radioactive on and off.
Thanks. I think that's scary.
Well, no, Tina, you have to realize how much that means. No scientist will answer it and say it's really possible.
So I'd like an answer, but I want to stay alive. So, guys,
I know you do. Oh, she wants to prove it. Well, we'll see how bad she is today.
Yeah. So, guys, me and Tommy, I wasn't feeling very well one day. I was just talking to Tommy.
Oh,
But
right. I don't know where I'm
anyway,
cooking today.
so we both bought a Geiger counter each from Amazon. So I've got there it is there. That's mine. And I got it from Amazon. There's the back of it. So that's the one we had. And just switch it on there and red button. And so the top here, if I hold it up, the top is, trying to get the light on it, is volts per meter. As you can see, there's electrical magnetic field. And the bottom one there is microteslas. It picks up radiation. Now, Tommy's is beeping because his magnetic field is near his screen. Mine isn't beeping because I have a smart TV and it does not emit radiation or electrical magnetic field. Tommy's does. Now, when Tommy pulls it away, it will go down a bit. Now, mine, as it goes towards me, normally goes up. There's been one or two occasions it's not had no readings at all or very low readings. So I'm going to put it towards me and we give it a go. So normally it beeps, sometimes it doesn't. Last week, I don't think it beeped when it was very low. And I can't even see. Oh, there you go. We're off already. There you go, Tommy. It is 0.42, 33, 35. There you go. Can you see that there, that reading?
Yes. People, can you see that, people? Can you see that? That's something that's not possible by any scientist that you'll talk to. Not one scientist will admit that radiation can come and go, change levels in a person to even disappear. Radiation takes not thousands, 100 years for it to actually slowly disappear, or even longer. So for it to come and go within half hour.
Was that it? So there's nothing, and then we're going to go, there you go.
Well, sometimes she's at a dangerous level.
It did beep earlier when I first did it, but it's still going, fluttering different numbers. But the point is, it shouldn't be fluttering any. It should not be fluttering any. There's
it shouldn't
nothing
go
there.
Up and down. It shouldn't be there.
So there you go, people. 3, 1, nothing. Both have done my neck up to me. Can't see that. There you go.
Go back
so there you go.
Your chest. Didn't you have it?
Or 10, 15, no. 1, 18, oh, 22 there. Oh, so gone down 7.
She's got different levels of radiation on her body. I mean,
nothing there.
Sometimes it's really high. Like when she put it right now, usually it's beeping. But that's just one little thing to show you we're dealing with truth, not lies, twisted history, make-believe stories. This is her life, and this is my life. I talk about everything that I have experienced in my life. She's talking about what's going on in her life, not somebody else's. We keep this as real as we can. I only want to bring truth out. I might be bringing somebody on soon that I trust. We'll see if that happens. But I'm afraid of people coming on my show that have zero truth. If they want to come on for a debate, that's a different story. I'll debate anybody in the UFO world, spiritual world, all right, on that subject. So
our EMF field go off then for a second. It's just going a bit schizo, but it's calm down now.
But here's the thing. I started with Sergeant Lake in 96.
Hold on, there you go. Oh, it was 19. I had EMF field of 19 then.
Well, we were coming out around the United States showing pictures of UFOs. Nobody cared.
No.
The UFO world was a lot different in those time frames. I know they said somebody at the conference was aliens and they were all afraid of these two people. So when I first went to the UFO world, it was totally different than what it is now. Now it's just, let's tell stories, let's make people spend money and buy our books. Does it help them in life? Does it help them understanding what aliens are really here for? Anything really about an alien, what they think, what they feel, what they care about? All they're trying to prove is something's flying over us. They did that in 1953, the year I was born. They flew over the White House twice in 1 week, a fleet of ships. Oh, it wasn't Russia. It wasn't China. Now, people say their ships, they were working on it. Look at the ships, the satellites that Russia was using in Germany. They
And the
didn't
size of
travel.
them.
They weren't traveling at super fast speeds. They weren't anything close to a real UFO. All right, to keep saying, well, this is their technology. No, it's not. They didn't have the technology. All right, and that's why I'll say the United States is ahead of all the countries. We had Evie working with us for many years. I mean, he was evil. It took us that long to find out about it. And what they were doing here, again, about the radiation, the reptilians need the planet radioactive, and they'll make sure it gets that way. So each race has their agenda, what they need, what they want. So when people say the good aliens, well, the good aliens aren't helping us with the air, the water, the land, food, life, children. What are they helping us with? I mean, find gold? Are they letting us all have gold? No, they're not doing anything for us, people. And talking to them, what? Hey, Mr. Alien, help me. Help you what? I want to be rich. All right. I will say some people, they do things for them to get their attention, to win them over. One thing, to make you think that they're good. The Nordics are very much like that. People assume they're like Jesus because they're tall, they wear white robes, they got blue eyes. Jesus didn't have blue eyes, sorry people, either. Jesus didn't have white skin. But again, people want to believe. All right, this white man would come walking down in the middle of a dark-skinned community? Really?
Well, it's a bit like people call the greys. They're greys. They're not they're little beings I've seen.
Well,
They're
I do
glowing
know
white.
different colored grays. I say there's 5 colored grays, from blue, white, gray.
I have seen a different coloured, like the different coloured tone little ones, and if you put them all in a little line, they're like little jelly babies. But it'd be hard to pick them like in individual. They do have some different skin tones, but the ones that I've seen, they're like glowing white beings.
Well,
Tommy, while on that subject, just before we go, you know about books? I do have 2 books I've written. One's a proper big, thick book, and one's a short story romance. But I'm going to flog my wares while we're here. I've written a book called The Guardians of Light and the Brotherhood of the Night. That's me, T.A. Barrett. There it is. Quite a chunky book, actually. You can get it in paperback, you can get it on download, and you can get it on Kindle, people. So you can buy that. And if you buy it and you see me out and about in Southampton, I'll be quite happy to sign it for you. Not a problem. This is, you can buy this on, this is a checkpoint, and soon to have a follow-up to it. It's a short story. There's a picture of me on the back, my RBSN number, and there it is. You can get this in paperback. It's a good little summer read, very good, romantic read, a bit refreshing, something very different. And you can buy this on Amazon Books, Amazon Kindle, and if you've got Kindle Unlimited, you can get it for free. So you can read 3 pages of it as well, but you can get it for free on Amazon Kindle, download, or in paperback. And you can buy it in Australia as well as America, in the US, UK, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, and other places around the world. So that's me, Tia Barrow. Please, guys, check it out. Get one. Get the free copy if you want. If you're on Kindle Unlimited. But I am going to be writing. I am started writing my account, and I can only put in it what's happened to me. So we'll do that. And from me, probably this week that'll be it. And I'm dying to hear when this. When they're going to release more or no more about the inconclusive report. So, Tommy, so next week, again, people, thank you for coming on the show, anyone in our chat room, and we'd like to hear comments from you. If you have a question from a previous show that you'd like answered, we can answer that for you or find somebody who knows. If you do have information for us, please let us know, or a question or an answer to a question we've asked. Please come on the show and ask. Or if you'd like to talk to me or Tommy, we're both very two ends of very controversial conversation. We like very good. I do like talking to Tommy, and sometimes I'll talk too much. But again, I'm sorry for tuning at the beginning and coming on the show. Tommy, I'm glad to see you're better this week. I was really worried about you last week. You looked terrible last week.
Well, Tina, you're leaving us, but that's okay. I'm staying on for a few minutes, just so you know. But it's always a pleasure. Looking forward to next week. It's getting closer to that point when we're going to see what we get, if anything or not. But it's a pleasure. Tina Bird, text her, text me anytime, but try to pull up her books. It's a good step. I'll talk about my books in a second, but in the interim, we're here for you. We're not here for ourselves. We're not here to make money. Period, people. Like those other people out there trying to make money, to be there for who? Nobody. They helping anybody? No. Talking to aliens going to help anybody? No.
Please
All
come
right.
on the show, guys, and interview me and Tommy. Ask us questions. That's
If
what
you
we're
want
here
to
for.
come live or ask questions, feel free. The link it should be up there, or just email me, text me. You want to come on the show, ask questions, fine. I am open all the time. But Tina, it's a pleasure. Till next time, enjoy your week, night, enjoy your day.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, guys. I've been ET Girl here in England, in Southampton, and I'll see you next week. Thank you, Tommy. Good night, people. Bye bye.
Good night, Tina. All right, she's in England, so she's a lot different in time. It's nighttime for her. It's only 10 o'clock in the morning for me. All right, I want to finish up on these people out there in the UFO world. Now, you're going to pay $300, $600 to go to a conference, and sometimes you have to pay for every person you hear speaking, $30, $40. It comes to a lot of money. All right. If you want to spend your money to listen to stories, if you like stories, go right ahead. But if you want truth, if you want more information, search it out other ways, because at a UFO conference, you got every single person that's trying to make money off of their book and off of their story. And their stories are very limited. I had multiple stories, and I'm not trying to make any money off of them. All my books pertain to spiritual awareness and working with that. I'm not talking about aliens in any of my books. I did write a PDF file of how to see a UFO book manual. I will give that away as a PDF file to anybody that wants it. Because if you really never saw a UFO, you should see one and know that they're real. All right. Then you can decide if you want to get into it or not. Do I really want to know what they're doing, why they're here, and all that? When the truth comes out, you'll hear that, if it ever does. Is there a reason you need to know that or want to experience it? Is up to you. And realize the more you open up to something, the more it brings it into your reality. And I mean, it brings you to the point of getting abducted and things like that. You go to a place, these people go out into the middle of the woods looking for a Bigfoot. Sure, they got a lot closer to it. You go out into the mountains and look at the sky. You're open to the sky and what comes out and what comes down and everything else. So my first book is How to See God. My second book is When Truth is Called Crazy. My third book is Truth Beyond the Illusion. And my fourth book, which is more important than all of them to me, is The True Teachings of Jesus from God Realization. It's not a religious book. It's a book about understanding God, what Jesus really came here for. And Jesus never said he was God, ever. So the twisting and lies that was created in the Bible, and 90% of the truth was taken out of it, what Jesus was really teaching. He was not teaching about protection. He was not teaching about taking your karma. Really? Karma is sin, if you want to use another word. No. You think so? How come in families that are religious in church and everything else, that son can get hit by a car and die? What's protected? See, people don't understand what Jesus was teaching, so how can they translate it into what it really means? They can't. Now, and please, I'm not saying this for ego reasons. I'm aware of all my lifetimes from Atlantis to now. I was a female when Jesus was alive. I was very close to Mary Magdalene, so I got to be with Jesus the last month of his life. I saw him. I saw how he taught, what he was teaching. And it wasn't that. The idea of love, they saw the love because of his love for Mary Magdalene. Jesus never got to see his daughter. He was killed before his daughter was born, and then he was able to see her in his soul body. All right, but people don't understand any of that. And when he came back, what was he? Uh, Again, people aren't ready to hear the truth about that because they're so far twisted and locked into lies. They're protected. They're karma, no karma. They're all going to go to heaven. Really, this is hell. So reincarnating back here is not a good thing. And the more you keep coming back here, the less you're finding anything about spiritual realms of God, which are so much better. Now, this I'm going to tell you people, and this is for all the UFO people out there. Aliens not only are not more spiritual, they cannot go beyond the astral plane. All people that die go to the astral plane. Most come back. Some can get to stay there. Very few souls go past it, or even want to, because they don't know the benefits. Now, there's many worlds after this realm. It's easier to attain a higher level here than any of the other realms, because every other realm past the astral plane is the highest bliss state that you could imagine. So once you touch that, even like when Buddha's teaching about reaching the bliss state, it's a state of one place, and there's always another place to move into. And if you want to let go of your own awareness, that's your choice. To become one with something else is letting go of who and what you are as soul. God allowed us to be a soul, not a consciousness. We wouldn't have to be here if it was just its consciousness. And what would it want to create? Dinosaurs, bats, and spend its creation with things like that? No, souls that can grow and become greater in awareness. For the fact, the part that we're connected with God is trillions and trillions of beings growing in any level only helps God become more aware, all right, of what it wants and what it's going to allow. And it's not he or she, which we are not he or she. We want to believe that. And what hurts people in this reality is the fact that when you reincarnate a couple thousand or a couple hundred times, you are a he or a she in different lifetimes. So when you come into this lifetime, in your last lifetime, you were a female. In this lifetime, you're just a male. It's different, and you're not in connection with it, even though you don't know the reasonings behind it. Oh, I am a woman. I am a man. Why? Because I feel it. Because soul is radiating that to the mind, and the mind can't perceive what it's really trying to tell it. Like I said, I'm willing to debate anybody in the UFO world, because most of them, the biggest names out there on the internet right now, are telling stupid stories, telling their ideas of what things are. Whitney Shriver coming out and doing a book on Jesus, I challenge him to the second. I write him letters as often as I can, and I call him a fraud and a fake. And I said, you want to talk about truth, please. Now, even conversation with God. Oh, he talked to God? Really? And it's the same thing every other person on this planet assumes God is about. Love. All right? Now, realize love did not exist before Jesus came here. I know that's a hard egg to swallow. Aliens do not love us, any of us. And I don't see why people would assume to love aliens. They don't have feelings and emotions like we do. We are the highest with feelings and emotions, because we're learning more aspects of what soul can do and create when it gets the ability to do that. But realize those things extend from God's awareness and light and sound that permeates through these realms. Not aliens, not the deities. The deities are little workers for God, but they brainwashed people all through history. See, a deity has its own reality. not God's reality. So when people say, well, they're gods, no, they're not gods. They're deities because they are not God. Now, when we deal with gods, when we perceive they're gods, we listen to them. The Mayans, the Aztecs, all the things they were taught were lies about reincarnation, the way they do it, and what they did to a body, and all these things they do, and have nothing to do with reality of reincarnation. All people have the ability to reincarnate. It's real easy. Keep doing bad things and you'll reincarnate no matter what. Satan controls this world and all the alien races as well. You don't have to believe it. You'll see it in time. Watch what we're doing to the planet. It's not hard. It's very simple. So, people, are you looking at what's going around in the UFO world? The TV things, well, it was this, it was that. Now, I'll say his first name, Lewis, is coming out and trying to bring some truth out. I asked him to come on his show. I'll bring him on. While other people like Stephen Greer calling him a fake. Well, Stephen Greer is just as fake as he's trying to call Lewis. Because Stephen Greer never came out with anything, and he's been involved in the UFO world for 25 years. And, he's bringing whistleblowers out and all this experience. Nobody, and I wrote letters to a lot of people about this already, is working with or trying to get John Ford out of the nut house on Long Island. He filmed the most important UFO video of a ship crashing on Long Island. I saw the video. All right. When that happened, the government closed off the area, had black trailers going in and out of it for 2 weeks. They let fires burn. The fires burned where the trail of the ship came in. I went there. The trail that they tried to burn down still there because the trees were all notched out. Sure, the trees were missing in the path, but the trees on the sides all had the notches where the wings of the shape of the ship hit. So that alone happened to this one guy who filmed it. Suddenly they came after him, and what they said, he had uranium and he was going to kill people in Congress. It's a little bit higher. They just wanted to kill politicians and things with uranium, going in their house and putting it in their toothpaste. What kind of person would believe that story? Everybody. The same as people believe the story of 9/11. And there's no truth to anything that was released. Are you people going to listen to these fairy tales, stories, and fake stories by other people telling you more fake stories about things? Aliens have been here for billions of years. They live probably 600 years, a lot of the different races. Are they more advanced than us? Technically, of course. Are they more spiritual? Not one of them are. If they were, they would be bringing it to this reality. But we're like an ant colony to a human. Can we teach an ant colony to fly or talk to us or any of that stuff? No. So why do you think aliens are here? When we raise cattle, what do we raise cattle for? Why do we raise sheep for? Why do we raise all these different animals, chickens? To eat, maybe? Not to have conversations with them. Now, on the other hand, the U.S. government spent 10 years straight killing roughly 10,000 dolphins a year themselves, trying to train dolphins to kill people. Are you looking at what we do, what we want out of? You need to wake up, people. These people out there in the UFO world have nothing important to tell you. The secret government, they had all these programs. So, do you know what they really did with those programs? If you have a UFO program and you're building ships, what do you think you're going to use those ships for? Just to pollinate Mars? To pollinate the moon? How about have wars with the alien races? And we did, people, in space, and we did have wars here on the planet. And you don't hear these UFO people talking about that. Oh no, I want you to talk to the good aliens. Oh, well, there's some bad aliens. No. Here's the thing. If you take, all right, say we have good and bad people on this planet. Who are the good people? The people that don't kill people? Well, look at what the white and the British and the English and the Spanish did to the native people in the United States. Humans that we, the human race in the United States, all evolved from. All right. It's sick, pathetic. How Russia killed all these people, how China killed all these people. China killed 80 million people and thought nothing of it. So, what do you think we are compared to a race coming here to teach us what? That have no feeling and emotion? How to make love, how to have love better, make children and teach them something important, which schools don't do? I don't want to get into the spiritual side because this is my UFO show. But please, I do a couple of spiritual shows. I'll be doing a spiritual workshop. The most important thing ever done, I think. And if you come to it, you'll realize what I'm saying. You'll understand everything there is to understand. And it's going to take you time to work at it, to get it true to yourself. But what I'm telling you is the truth. And there may be very few people on this planet that can. Why? Because they didn't have the experience with it. Sure, I was next to a Bigfoot, a foot away. I was 12 feet from an alien. I was about 100 feet from a ship that landed. I mean, does that matter? No. I saw thousands of ships in my lifetime. My brother was almost abducted and I stopped it from happening. So all these things, how many people in the UFO world can say any of it? Well, John Schmo had a visit with an alien and he saw, and then they get into the energy. Well, it was really, and it's like they were there and they weren't. Do they know what a person feels? A person trying to describe the feelings they're going through is almost impossible because we all experience things at such a different level. And to try to teach somebody else that, to try to learn what aliens are teaching us about what? Now, Tina is one of the few people that have been abducted and has much more proof than almost all the other people that have been abducted. And I'm not making that up. Oh, somebody just came out and talked about this 1962 story of abductee, one of the first bull story. I mean, when Roswell happened, 3 ships crashed. Do you know that? Not one. And you never hear the stories of the other 2. Well, a Native American elder who I studied with, I went on a vision quest with, Robert Morningstar. No, sorry, Sky. Robert Morningstar is a person that speaks out of New York City. Well, I did a vision quest with him, had incredible experiences with him. I studied with a medicine woman for 26 years, had a lot of experiences from that about spiritual sides. But the UFO side was all my own and things I went through. But the problem is people don't want the truth. And if you give them the truth, they don't believe it. But tell them a great lie, they'll believe it. Why is that? I'd ask myself, why would a person want to believe a lie over the truth? Because lies always make it sound good. And the truth usually doesn't make it sound good. Now, if I told you when you die and you go past the astral plane, you're no longer male or female, a genitalia, do you want to know that? Probably not. When you go past that, you're not male or female at any kind of level. So do I want to go to that level? No, I like being a human because you're hooked on the program. And that's the first thing you have to overcome to get out of the lower worlds. Aliens aren't going to. Aliens love playing in this reality because Satan loves to control them to do that. All right, people. I went on a little bit. Please, you want answers, questions, whatever. Hawksblood1, AOL.com. I'm on Skype, Hawksblood11. Anyone that wants to talk or debate, please do. I like to talk to people that are out there mainstream because they're the ones that are trying to convert the world and twist their thinking and program them. Now, I got an open mind with, debate open for Mr. Gates, Mr. Musk, okay, but I call him Mush, uh, millionaires, billionaires, people that think they can tell the world how to do things and make them do it. Mr. Musk came out about a month ago and said there are no aliens here. Is he brain dead? Is he real? Does he understand? Or does he want to program us even more? Who is he working for? What's he working for? When you have that kind of money, you're evil. Anyone on this planet with that kind of money is evil. Because if you can have that kind of money and know somewhere in your neighborhood some child's being abused, tortured, and sold, and not do a thing about it, when you can do anything you want, it's sad. Like Jesus said, it's easier for a camel to go through an eye of a needle than a rich person to get into heaven. But people are controlled by Satan, not Lucifer. All right? And they listen to that. Satan gives people what they want. And it makes them want to stay here more. Aliens are getting what they want. Food, energy, embryos, DNA, blood, not DNA. They don't want our DNA specifically. They want our blood. I can go into all that. Anybody wants to debate the truth, what's really happening, please. The government's cloning grays. They also abduct cattle. They need the sacks to grow the embryos of the grays in, and the blood is what feeds them. Grays don't eat through their mouth. They suck it through their pores. And they smell so gross. All right, people. You want more? We'll get into it more next time. But listen to these UFO people. Listen to what they're telling you. Oh, one last thought. When these people talk about spiritualism, God, please tell them to talk to somebody that knows something about it, which they don't. Universal consciousness and all those words are limited to the matrix of the first reality of the lowest world of God. Remember that. And we have realms within this reality. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12 realms. And within each reality, there's 3 realities within that. And in each realm, there's 3 realities within each one of them. So that's why they always hear 3, 6, 9 are important numbers, because they are. But then again, you want to listen to a UFO speaker. Well, I'm going to teach you how to talk to the good aliens, and the government's going to set up fake bad invasions. And for what? To scare us to what? The New World Order, we're not talking about right now. But they're the ones that control everything. They're the ones that want to eliminate the population. The world could survive with all the people that are here right now if they could work together and work as a group consciousness, not universal consciousness, a real consciousness of being together, accepting each other. But that can't happen either. As long as people believe in a different God, a different entity, or no God, will never agree on the same thing. Every country has their beliefs on how many children you can have, how many children you should have, how women should be treated, and all those words. That's all limited consciousness. You want to be one with that? What person would you want to be one with at any level? There's nobody on this planet that I'd want to be one with, because they're nowhere close enough to be in the thinking and consciousness that I am in and the vibration I vibrate. That's why when you get into the higher worlds, you are alone. Sorry, people, it's not what you imagine, but it is greater. Being a creator rather than a destroyer is the most important thing soul can learn. Not here, but in the higher realms, when it does. So there's a lot to learn, people, and you're not going to learn it at a UFO conference. If an alien walked in the door at a UFO conference, what do you think he would say? Hi, morons. Not hi, loving beings. Really? Well, they taught me how to levitate or how to this. You know, the psychic abilities, they don't have them, all of them. There's 32. They have a few of them, and they use them. Teleporting, which Tesla proved was given that technology. They don't need a machine to do it. We're capable of doing it with our soul body. There's a lot of things, but all the psychic abilities, if we had any of them, any one of them, even about 80%, that person could destroy the world or own it. That's simple. All right, people. You heard it here. Tommy.Hawksblood, open for anybody out there thinking they're smart, intelligent, spiritual, top UFO speaker on the planet. Really? Oh, I'm not going to say any more names. I talk about names a lot, but I'm done today. Have a good night. Have a good day, wherever you are. Think about what I said today. Don't just walk away. You go to a conference, you're happy for a week, go home, you think about it, and then it's all over and gone. I want to give you information how to become spiritual, which aliens can't teach you. That's why I'm going to be doing the most important spiritual workshop ever done on this planet. You're probably not going to like half of it. If you like it, it's probably not good. If you're told things that are good, it's probably not real. God protects you. If I came over there and smashed you on the head with a sledgehammer, would you be okay? Would you be protected? If I took a chainsaw and cut you in half, you'd be okay? Really? You don't think other people are interfering in your reality, which all people do, which is the most spiritual law on this realm, in this plane, that we shouldn't be crossing, and that's a law of non-interference. You have no right to interfere in anybody else's reality unless you're asked into it. I'm not forcing a person to listen to me. I'm not even charging you to listen to me. These other people want you to pay to listen to them because other people say, well, they got something to say. About what? Okay, people, I could go on, and I like to, but not now. Peace, love, compassion, whatever you need in your life. Hope you get it, find it. But remember, there's always a step up. Don't take the step down.